about to get Dana White. So I'm going to flip the channel over to find out the line.
All right. The performance of the night is Casey and Beza, and the fight of the night was Vera versus Yudong. Tonight was a tough night to pick. No transports and no gate, and no fans.
Dana, the main event, I mean, I think everybody wanted this feel-good moment for Walt Harris, right? I mean, but it's the fight game, and Alistair Overeem's a tough guy. But, I don't know, it felt kind of deflating at the end there. Could you just say kind of what your feeling was like watching that and what you went and said to Walt?
Yeah, I felt like, you know, I said to you guys a few days ago, win, lose, or draw, being here is a win for him. He got through tonight, and you have to understand that who knows what was going through that guy's body, head, you know, the whole deal. And he got him in trouble. I think when he watches the tape, he'll realize he overreacted a lot and, you know, should have slowed down and picked his shots. But you're in there against, you know, one of the all-time greats in the heavyweight division, true veteran of the sport. You know, he weathered the storm and he did what Overeem does. And this is a learning experience in a lot of ways for Walt in his first fight back. And, you know, he'll get better from this. In every way you can be better, from fighting to the other things that's going on with him.
Yeah. I was going to ask, I mean, did you get a sense of how he was? I mean, obviously he's down right now. It just happened. But, I mean, obviously such a delicate position. Did you get a feel of kind of how he was when you talked to him?
Yeah, you know, exactly how you would expect him to feel right now. You know, I think probably take him an hour to sit down and calm down, process what happened. And then when he goes back and watches the tape of the fight, he'll know all the mistakes that he made.
I know you're not necessarily a sentimental kind of guy sometimes, but hey, man, the week is in the books. 3 shows are done. You got it done. I mean, this is history, right? I mean, this is the first sporting organization back. What's the feeling for you right now?
Feels good. I'm happy to have it behind me. I wanted this week to be over, and was successful in every way it could be successful. I feel great about it. You know, more importantly, you know, nobody's sick. Nobody's sick. Nobody's gotten sick. And hopefully that's the case. You know, there's no guarantees in life, but hopefully that's the case when we all go home. It was a great event. It was a great week. And I think we picked the perfect place to do it, too. This town was perfect for it. Like I said, the governor and the mayor and the athletic commission and everybody was great. This arena was incredible. These guys were great to us. I don't know what your experience was out in Jacksonville, but everybody was nice. It was great. The food was awesome. I mean, I just couldn't say enough good things about Jacksonville and the experience here. So I'm glad we did it here first. So I'm ready to go home, though.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
You're on a panel with some pretty important people in the rest of sports as well. I'm curious, have you had conversations with the other sports leagues? Have you had any advice to offer them other than come to Florida?
Some people have had the, you know, we've sent the document to, you know, but it looks like, first of all, when you look at the people that run these other sports, these are all really smart guys, and nobody knows their business better than they do. They know what needs to be, you know, you basically just, first of all, this arena is what's the thing that they have? Shield, Venue Shield, is this project that they have where they come in and they literally clean the venue from top to bottom, you know, which is huge. Then there's things like just little things, that details you wouldn't think about. I mean, you saw the guys spraying down the octagon, wiping down the octagon between every fight. Like our headphones used to just be laying on the thing. Now they're in these packages that say that they've been sterilized. And all these little types of details that those guys would know better about their business than any of us ever would. That they have to literally sit down and break through item by item on what they need to do and how they need to make it as safe as they possibly can. And they'll figure it out. These are all smart guys. Yeah. These are all smart people that are running these companies.
and there was a ton of attention on these 3 events and the safety and all that. All this protocol that was followed this week in Florida, is that essentially the way you see UFC events being done, like at the Apex, on Fight Line, all the same type of protocol?
Yeah. This is what we're gonna do. Listen, obviously, you know, you guys know me. You've dealt with me long enough. You know, when we're doing what we're doing, and you're just taking unnecessary punishment, you know what I mean? You know I'm gonna fucking snap eventually, and I do. But you know, we worked hard. We worked hard to pull this thing off and to get here. And you know, nothing means more to me than the safety of everybody that was involved in the event. You know, not just with COVID-19, but you know, fight that wasn't stopped soon enough, or you know, and all these type of things. So every time we finish an event, you know, I want everybody to go home safe, and it's not any different now with the COVID-19 thing. And we will do everything in our power. We will spend the money. We will get the best, the brightest. We'll talk to doctors and, you know, experts in the field, and to figure out how to beat it. One of the things that I always do is I believe that nothing is impossible. Everything can be done, especially in 2020. And you just have to be willing to work hard enough, spend some money, and come up with solutions. And that's what we did this week.
Looking to the future, May 30th, you were hoping to have in Las Vegas. Any updates on that, on where we stand? Is May 30th going to be able to happen at the Apex?
I don't know yet, but yeah, that's what we're working on. That's what we're hoping for. And once May 30th is on, we're rolling now. If we can't get May 30th at the Apex, it's going to be super disappointing, but we will go somewhere else.
You'll definitely have a card on May 30th.
100%.
And then we noticed tonight in the advertising for UFC 250 that had been announced for June 6th. Now it just says coming in June. So is that not happening June 6th, or do you know what's going on with that?
What did they do?
Just said coming in June. It used to say June 6th.
Yeah, well, first of all, nothing has mattered to us but this week right now. This is all we care about. Getting through this week. We go home. We start getting back in the office next week. You know, all of our employees are being tested right now. So we're testing the whole company. And then we're going to get everybody back to work. And the matchmaking meeting is Tuesday. So we'll get our shit together next week.
Sounds good. Well, I'll ask you one anyway. Last one for me. There was one fight that guys are going back and forth with each other on social media. That's John Jones and Francis Ngannou. Both seem to be wanting that fight. They say it's a big money fight. UFC's got to bring the big money. What do you think? It seems to be getting fans pretty intrigued. Is that a fight that you at least see as possible?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I don't know if those guys really want that fight. You know what I mean? Let me tell you this, and I'm not saying this is the case with these two. You see a lot of talk online and whatever it might be, but actually making fights is a whole nother ballgame.
Dana, just a lot of the talk about these 3 events have been there's no other sports on. From what you've seen, do you believe you've gained new fans who hadn't watched the sport before?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, hopefully that's the case. That would be awesome. But listen, it wasn't even about that. It was about, you know how strongly I felt that we could do this. So it's really what it was about for me.
Eddie Hearn just announced his plans to bring boxing back in the UK. I was reading his plan. I have to say it seems very similar. Hotel, test the fighters when they arrive, socially distanced, digital media days, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is he one of the guys you've spoken to about getting events back on?
No, he and I spoke, but you know, it was more just like he said, "You're the night of the fight," so that kind of stuff. No in detail talking.
Cool. I know you said the matchmaking meeting is on Tuesday, but in regards to Fight Island, do you have an idea of who you'd like to see feature on that card, and do you have guys training for that date? Or
No, I have no idea yet. Right. We'll figure that out. I mean, guys are training. People are training right now. People want to fight. So I don't see an issue making a fight with anybody right now. And other than Rose, There might be others, so don't, this isn't, you know, I don't know if this is a fact, but I don't think there's anybody else that's brought up any issues about fighting right now.
Okay, and last one from me. I know you said you prefer the crowds and you prefer the energy they bring, but having seen some of the fights we've seen over the past week, any argument that somehow having no crowds could negatively affect a fighter is out the window, right?
Yeah, well, that was out the window anyway. I mean, I've been doing the Ultimate Fighter, you know, for 15 some odd years. Well, there we go. I've been doing the Ultimate Fighter for 15 some odd years with no crowds, and obviously the Contender Series, and some of the best fights you'll ever see are on there. What was cool about tonight that was different for me, or this week, I mean, and for you guys too, was fights of this level with no crowd. You know, big difference.
Dana right here. A lot's obviously been made of Walt's situation, but of course Alistair Overeem won the main event. What did you make of his performance? I feel like the last 10 years a lot has been made of his chin or lack thereof, according to fans and pundits, but you saw he took a lot of damage in that and still came back. So what did you make of
That's crazy you say that. I said during the fight, I was like, damn, when did he get a super heavyweight chin? And recovered. Yeah, he looked good, you know?
And then there were several split decisions on this card. A lot of argument online. I think it was the co-main event between Angela and Claudia, the Song Yadong and Vera, and then one more escapes me. But did you agree with all of the split decisions on there?
I gave Gedalia 1 and 3. I missed the Vera fight because I was talking to somebody. And then, what was the third one? What was the third one?
The Ige Barboza.
Who?
Ige versus Barboza.
Oh, yeah. I had Barboza winning that fight.
What did you make of how do you think Barboza looked at featherweight against?
He looked good. He looked strong. He looked strong. But Ige was, you know, you think about it, that's actually his weight. He looked tough. He looked good in his first real nasty fight against a guy who's been around forever and a guy who came in great shape, looked good. You know, Barboza gets in there and starts kicking and punching, and he starts to gas midway through the second, and he did not gas tonight. He looked good, especially for a guy that cut that much weight.
And then earlier on the card, I don't know if you heard, but Nate Landwehr was screaming your name in the middle.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah.
Have you spoken to him?
There's like 6 people in there. I heard him screaming. Yeah, that guy was a nut. That was a fun fight. It was a fun fight, and that guy was fun.
And then one final one. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey announced all sports are going to be open, all professional sports. If you can't get the Apex,
That's where I'll go.
it would be Arizona.
That's 100% where I'll go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dana, this week on Fox, they've been promoting the NASCAR as being the first big live sporting event.
Have they really?
What are your
Eric
thoughts?
Shanks, you dirty bastard.
And not mentioning the UFC already having 3 shows before then.
Well, Shanks, you know, the president of Fox called me, said congratulations, and somebody had to. So, you know, I would call it more of an ESPN versus Fox thing than a UFC slap in the face. I have an incredible relationship with Fox, and you know, you never have and you never will hear me say a bad word about Fox. Without Fox, there is no ESPN, and those guys were very, very good to us for the entire relationship, and I loved the time that I spent at Fox, and you know, yeah, it's all good.
With this week being over now, a historic week in UFC and MMA history, I would say. How would you rate this 1 to 10?
What's the question again?
This week, how
Yeah.
it's gone with the 3 fights.
Oh, yeah.
How would you rate this as 1 to 10?
What's best, 1 or 10?
10.
It's a 10.5. It was awesome. The key to this week was, you know, not a lot of people testing positive for COVID-19, and or nobody getting sick, you know, during the week. So it was a home run, and yeah, I couldn't be happier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, You mentioned earlier in the press conference a lot of talking on the internet. What's next for a guy like Colby Covington, and what's been the biggest roadblock for getting him booked for a guy like Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, like I said to John, I don't know yet. You know, we got to get home. All I've been thinking about is this week and getting this week done and getting this one under our belt. And then we'll go back. And then now I got to get the thumbs up for Nevada, which is hopefully, you know, we're doing this next fight in the Apex. Because if not, then, you know, we'll be working on Arizona next. So I just want to. I don't know. I'm not even thinking about that stuff right now.
Gotcha. But just curious, last week GSP was announced into the Hall of Fame. Was wondering over the past few months there was any kind of conversations with him, trying to bring him back for another fight if he had any interest in any fighting, or he was completely checked out?
Yeah, no, I don't think we haven't talked about him fighting at all. You know, I called him that night to let him know that he was into the Hall of Fame. He texted me back later, but we haven't talked about fights since his last fight.
And lastly, read the San Diego Tribune article about your son.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Didn't realize you were an avid surfer. Does this mean that Fight Island's going to be somewhere like on a beach with waves?
My surfing days are way behind me. I don't mess with that anymore. But yeah, I love surfing. I have a surf show coming out. We start filming here pretty soon, actually, in the next several weeks. It's going to be on ABC. Yeah, no, I'm happy for my son. San Diego's awesome, and he loves football. He's super passionate about it, and yeah, and his first PR.
Thank you.
He likes the media better than I do. He's had a good run. Good? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Claudia, it had been I think 10 months since you had last fought. A lot of things had happened between now and then. Give us the idea. What was the feeling like in there tonight? You know, finally getting to compete again.
Kind of crazy, you know. We're going through some crazy times right now, and to be able to train in a garage, go through a fight camp, and lose 15 pounds, and come here and, you know, and fight a good striker, you know, stand up with her the whole fight. It's pretty crazy.
I was going to ask, I mean, round one seemed to go pretty much perfect for you, and then things started to get a little difficult after that. So what were the feelings, like adjustments that you needed to make, or, you know, concerns that you were having as the thing was carrying on?
Man, Angela is a great striker. She's a great fighter. You know, I think she should be ranked. I think she's a top 10 strawweight, you know. She had her ups and downs, but she got so much better lately. You know, I don't know what she's doing, but she got so much better, and I knew that. I studied her and was like, wow, this girl's getting so much better. And I've been working my striking a lot. I was having fun standing. You know, I should have tried a little more to take the fight to the ground, but I was having fun, and I feel like I need those type of fights. You know, I need to stand up with great strikers to be able to step there again and grow as a fighter and do anything I want in the octagon.
I was going to ask you, I thought you'd be going for takedowns more frequently. So was it a conscious decision, like coming in, or just on the spur of the moment you said, hell with it, let's just throw down?
I feel like I need those type of fights, you know, like of course you grow from sparring, you grow from training, you know, from drilling, you know, but those fights, it's what makes you grow. And I started up with a great striker for 3 rounds. The second round didn't go very good, but the first and third worked very well, you know, and this is what's gonna make me grow. This is what's gonna make me better, you know, and more confident to step in there and do anything.
And you mentioned the rematch, and Carla came out and she had talked about it before too. She went to social media and she said, let's do it, but don't bring the grease this time. I don't know if you had a chance to see that. What do you think about that?
I heard, man, it's 2020, you know, like the sport, it's evolving so much. Like, come on, I have the commission athlete following me, like to the time I step in the octagon to the time the fight it's finished, you know. How the fuck am I gonna grass? Carlos Esparza, stop with your fucking excuses and let's get back in there again.
Claudia, what did you make of Carla's win over Michelle Waterson?
Say it again.
How did you think Carla looked against Michelle Waterson on Saturday?
Right now, I wouldn't say much, you know, because everybody's going through crazy times and it's tough to train. It's tough to do anything. You know, I don't know how her camp was, but the fight, not a lot of things happened on that fight, so I can't say much.
What did you make of fighting in an empty arena where you could hear everything the whole fight?
It was crazy. It took me a little while to realize I was fighting. You know, I felt like I was walking through a movie theater. I was like, I saw Dana with his orange shirt standing octagon side. I was like, okay, I see this orange shirt and an empty arena here. But it was like going to a sparring session. It was like a tough sparring session, you know.
Would you obviously coach The Ultimate Fighter. Could you compare it to that, fighting, watching your fighters fight in that empty gym, like fighting out in this giant arena?
I feel like in The Ultimate Fighter, you have your team cheering on you, you know. Here today, it was like nobody. You couldn't hear nothing but you coaches. So I feel like it was more like a tough sparring session than an Ultimate Fighter fight.
Thank you.
That's how I celebrated my 40th birthday too, so it's fine. Yeah. Alistair, talk about tonight. I mean, how difficult of an assignment was it really for you? I mean, you know everything that was going on with Walt. You had a lot of respect for him, and then you got to go be the bad guy on the night that he's trying to have this, amazing moment in his life. How difficult is that to come in a night like that?
Well, for me, it was not difficult at all because it's a sport, it's a job. Of course, Walt has been through personal tragedy, which is awful. But yeah, it's a sport. I see it as a sport. It's a game, right? It's a way of making a living. So Walt is a cool guy. Don't get me wrong. We'll probably train together. We were kind of friends before a little bit. But I just see it as professional, nothing personal.
Certainly. He caught you early. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. How in trouble were you there? Was it worse than it looked, or was it trouble for a second?
Well, it was definitely trouble because I got dropped. That's number one. Number two, I got cut, right? And, you have a man who's 275 standing over on top of you trying to finish you. So definitely we were in trouble. He's very athletic, right? Very fast, very powerful. So we were in trouble for a little bit. Fortunate I was able to reverse the situation and get the finish on Walt.
Yeah. Saw a lot of compliments for your chin. People say, "Oh, look, Alistair could take a shot." Maybe that was a question at times. I know that's kind of a backhanded compliment because you have to get punched to do it, right? But do you feel like you show something like, "Hey, I can still, I can still take shots at this level"?
For adversity, right? That's how you show it. Yeah, I think it worked out well tonight.
I know you said it's just a sport, just a game that we play, but it looked like you were being very meticulous with your finish. Did that factor in at all, like your respect for him and your understanding for him and maybe not trying to be as violent as you could be in finishing it, but being a little more meticulous?
No, again, when I fight, I put the emotions away. The friendship or the personal tragedy, it's a sport. It's a way of living. And we both love what we do, right? So I just tried to approach the sport aspect.
Sure.
It's not personal to me.
You had some words for him afterwards. Can you share at all what you shared with him?
Well, my heart went out for him for the situation, but also we were kind of talking before, hey, let's train together. We were doing the PR tour. Very cool guy, works hard, trains hard. So just to reassuring him, let's train together. Let's get better, right? Let's make each other better.
Nice. And last thing for me, obviously still a big star in the sport. What is it you want to accomplish? What do you see? I'm sure you want to take some time, celebrate your birthday, that sort of thing. But what's next for you? What do you want to accomplish this year?
Well, we're still hunting for the title, right? And I would say also I'm in the last phase of my career, right? So those two things are a little bit on my mind. Finish up the career and one more run at the title.
Alistair, in front right here. You've obviously fought in all over the world, but have you ever experienced something like fighting in an empty arena?
Never. And strange enough, I was fired up about it, right? I've had, this was fight number 92. It kind of reminded me of my earlier fights, right? And I have to go all the way back to 97 when there's like 200 or 300 people in the audience. This was a little bit different though. And I don't know, it motivated me, It's during a pandemic, first time. So to me, it was very interesting tonight. No audience. Still you got tension, still you got the nerves, right, going through you, fight day. I don't know, but it was different. It was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
And then when he did have you in trouble, you notably hit that switch to get back to your feet. You've also made it known you enjoyed training with Curtis Blaze, and that move is very high level in collegiate wrestling and amateur wrestling. Is that something he worked on with you for this fight?
Well, Curtis is, I would say, the best sparring partner I've had. He's, what is his rank, 3 or 4? And he pushes me. He pushes me to become a better fighter. I think I do the same to him. So we have a great chemistry also with the coaches, with the rest of the team. And, Curtis is tough. He's 265, 275, sometimes he's 255, but you got to be creative. You got to figure it out. So, yeah, I don't know. He pushed me to become better, and he's instrumental to me.
And then you talked about you're still hunting for the title. A few of your fellow heavyweights that won this week, like Ben Rothwell and Andrei Arlovsky. They were basically pleading for Stipe to become active again, but Stipe is adamant that he can't train, and he's being a first responder to this pandemic, so he's waiting to figure out a date for that rubber match with Daniel Cormier. So what do you make of the state of the title right now, given all of these older fighters are saying they don't have much time to chase that title anymore?
Well, not much, right? Stipe is his own man. He makes his own decisions. You can't go around and say he's scared or whatever. I think that's nonsense. He's tough. He's proven it over and over again, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about him.
Thank you.
Boom.